So I start with the creamy color. This part is more cream. Take heavy paint. Creamy color. And now I can switch to blue color. And add here. Even you can add a little bit white in between, the pure white color. And let the creamy and bluey color move to each other. Heavy paint again. More light blue color on top. But I don't want to lose my creamy color. So I am gently come here, not to lose the colors. And when I use heavy paint, it's not dry so fast. So it gives me a chance to work more relaxed. I know that it's covered by lots of flowers, so don't worry about it. We will make those on top. And you can have napkin beside yourself to clean your brush and then switch to the other color like creamy color. And very gently let it move into the blue. So I think again a little bit need blue, and then we can switch to the green color. I think on the top part we need some blue, so I go with the pure blue. It's okay to show it a little bit darker. Or even you can mix just a bit white at the same time inside the blue. And I don't want to lose the creamy color, so I clean my brush and switch to cream, then move on into the blue. Less pressure because I would like these two colors blend into each other. Clean my brush with napkin and take some green color this time. When both blue and green mix into each other, when they wet, give us a nice mixture. Even you can use it on top. We don't have to always cover everything. You can bring the blue into the green and bring the green into the blue. When you want to do that, please use less pressure in your hand and smoothly touch your surface, really smooth. And here it should be place of our sunflower, so I don't work more than this. I think it's enough. Then here. So I want to go with palette knife. I choose a small size or even tip of my palette knife for center. I take my brown And I imagine my center of flower should be placed here. So I put my brown, turn like a circle very gently. You can place and make it so similar brush, working with brush, but it has a texture, a little bit more than brush. And make it heavy like that. Clean your palette knife by rag or napkin, and then move on with this orangey tone. Take it with tip of your palette knife. It shouldn't be a lot, just a small part of your palette knife, and beside this, move it like that. This is the base of our sunflower, so we can move on. Even if it's mixed a little bit with the center color, that would be nice. Move it like this. As a layers, we will move it more accurate, and later we do that. I just go with a tip and try to shape each petal with less pressure, because if you add more pressure, you can lift up your paint. So very less pressure and very gently try to add your color for each petal, and try to build your petals one by one. And turn it toward this side. Curve shape. And we can make this one a little bit longer. We need to work more on this one. So I just go for the place of that, because in between I would like to bring a dark green color. Because of that, just one layer would be enough to place our flower, even here. You can keep some empty space in between the petals as a background. And for this part, we need to use a little bit more from this side. I try like moving the pencil. I try to move it here to the center, because the shape of the face of sunflower is toward right. Less pressure. For now, I just go with one tone, one value of my paint. Try to use the tip a little bit pointy. Like that. And then a little bit more paint you can take, and this time more space. Put your palette knife here, very gently bring it inside. And then the tiny bit petal we need for here. This way, the right side would bigger petals because of the shape of sunflower. Here, less petal we need, shorter should be. So for now, it's fine to keep it like that. We will work more. Just cover here a little bit. I'm not happy for this part. Again, a little bit more I need to bring. And I know that the petals is longer, so I add a tip of my palette knife for tip of petal. Even here too. Yeah, that's helpful. And then shape it. And let this first layer get dry. Even I need a little red color here. More orange reddish. I take a little bit with the tip. Bring some reddish tone in between. Then let it dry. It's better to help it get dry. After that, we will work. I go with one side of my palette knife and just randomly add one side, I mean it can be like left side or right side, this part. And I pass my brush here, my palette knife here, and move it like this. Try to shape similar petals. A little bit orange tone, I can bring the bottom part. Dark color. With the tip of my flat brush, very gently I try to add some brush stroke, not really accurate, just the brush stroke. Heavy paint would be nice too. I just want to help not to lose the shape of each petal, because exactly beside these petals are really dark. So I keep those by the brush to shape it. Like that. And even here too. The yellow is wet. Because of that, we should be a little bit more gently to add tone around it. Okay, just this part is really dark. I think, yes, just this part is dark. On top is more lighter, so I go with this one. Yeah, I think would be enough. Then I can back to my palette knife. Actually, the shape doesn't matter. Randomly take some, first of all, we can go with the light tone. So we already have green color, we already have yellow ochre. Mix these two together. And then one side of your palette knife, you can grab your paint and randomly add some texture here with whole shape of palette knife. You can keep the base, which is darker, to be stay. Just randomly add some. You can go to pure ochre green, the dark tone, and the light green. We work by this 3 green color and make some texture. Randomly, I add everything on my surface, and you can move it like that. Shape and form. Even you can bring the darker tone and help fade into each other. But make sure when you want to work with palette knife, it's better not to let it very flatly move like this. It's better to keep this texture. Even if you're not happy with the shape, you can work with palette knife like that and shape it on the way that it's more interesting for you. But it's better to feel this texture on top. So continue. Even I don't want to cut from the darkness to the lightness, so I move with the pure ochre green and the darker tone to move on here and make some interesting texture. Even you don't need to make it And then I have some creamy tone under this part and bluey tone. So back to our white color, yellow ochre, mix both together. We keep it aside. I always clean my palette knife. Again, back to white and light blue. To use this one as well. So I bring the blue tone or even more blue between this green. It's interesting if you work randomly and help these two mix into each other. Feel free to do some creativity. Because working with palette knife, it's similar watercolor painting. Even if you copy from your own painting, two of your painting does not look like each other. A little bit change, you will see. Like that. And then creamy color. Bring it more. Help it sit here. Yeah, that would be nice. I would like to let this part get dry and then bring some bluey tone on top. And take some stroke, tiny bit on a tip, and like a circular shape, bring it on top. I know it mixed with the green color, but it's really lovely. Again, back to green, back to yellow ochre. Mix these two together because the stem is so light. After that, clean your palette knife. With one side, doesn't matter with which shape palette knife you want to go. It can be this one or that one. Just take your paint very narrow in one side and try to make a curve. I try to place my palette knife here a little bit, bring it down like that. Again, a tiny bit. It will be covered by the blue color here on the bottom part, but it's okay. I will continue here. And the small one we place here. Clean my palette knife. Switch to smaller palette knife or even the tip. Tip would be okay too. Now we need different blue color. We already used the light blue, which is this one. We mix this one and pure, mix with the white and the pure one. For the flowers, we need cobalt blue as well, which is a little bit darker. And I mix my cobalt, take some here with this light blue to make another value as well. So different value, it's always interesting to have. So this is nice. We can use both. And the white color mix with the light blue color. This is good for lighter value and even the pure blue, light blue that we have already. So for this specific one, we just use the tip, the small part of our palette knife. So I go with the pure light blue and very tiny bit, I go to make very gently to help my paint sit on top. Very less pressure. You can take your brush like that, sorry, palette knife like that, even. You can find which way is more easy and comfortable for you. Working with palette knife, it's look like making a cake. And I don't know, you work in the pure blue, shape it like this. Heavy paint. Now I would like to go with this darker tone. This one. Help this dark tone sit on my painting. You can do everything with the tip of your palette knife. Randomly add some darkness and light color everywhere. Game. I can bring some really white color into the blue to reach a really light tone. I see here. If you work very gently and try to help heavy textures sit on top of each other, not pressure a lot, you don't ruin the base colors, even if it still be wet. I think we are okay. I prefer not to work more than this. Just some great color still I need to have here. Just with the touch, I make that feeling of green, even a little bit yellow ochre. So next part, I would like to work more on my sunflower. First of all, I switched to small brush that I have because if you see center of sunflower is a little bit bigger and here is lighter tone. Exactly here is dark. So mine is really browny. I have a still wet surface. It's not really dry. I would like to mix my darker brown into the reddish color, help these fade into each other a little bit more with reddish brown, even more red. Yellow ochre I can add to make it lighter. I continue with center color to bring it into the sunflower. Mine was really wet and I bring that color. So like this, they fade into each other. Just from one side, not here. And then exactly more dark color as a black, I will bring tiny dot here. So I want to show this is a little darker inside. And around just feeling of red and yellow ochre is visible. Like that. And then back to smaller palette knife, or if you don't have it, just the tip of palette knife. This time I make my yellow with white because I want to have lighter value. This is a little lighter because I would like to add white into that. And even beside this one, I need pure yellow. And orange. So 3 different value. So I add a little red into my yellow to keep the feeling of orange and light pink, light yellow and the pure. So I just go with the tip of palette knife and the side like that. My petals are dry, so I can be a little bit more accurate and heavier. Very gently pass like that. You don't have to cover all the part, just one stroke to bring heavy paint somewhere. For example, here, one stroke here, like this, even. Clean it with lighter tone, small stroke, bring it inside, another small stroke, turn your hand like this, move it like that, and leave it, even you can shape it a little bit, pointy like this. And pure yellow Even here with heavy paint, bring it like that. Very gently, I try to shape it to let it not damage the other part. More white color, we need to have lighter tone with the tip. Start here, adding light tone here. Even we need one more stroke to keep here. Like that. Pure yellow. The light colors are more here. And now we can apply with pure yellow and more orangey tone for this part. Sometimes because all the part that you work is wet, so you need to move your hand off and be very gently, not touch the green part. Sometimes they mix into each other and your palette get